What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I don't know, fucking daughter's laying on the floor sleeping. So, how's everybody doing tonight? It's gonna be one of those shows. I think it's gonna be one of our quicker shows, to be honest with you. It's not really much going on in the way of news. I wish Bobbit would stop dancing, but there's not much going on in the way of news. But we'll get to the main reason why we're probably here, and that's for the people in Portland. But let's get into some news that's been going on. Let's talk about what happened Monday night, briefly. I don't want to spend 45 minutes talking about this because I hated the fucking segment. I actually fucking despised what Here's why. I hated the Shayna Baszler and Becky segment. I don't care what anybody fucking says. Becky can be the man. But just because she is the man doesn't mean that every fucking segment she does is great. Listen, that segment was absolutely fucking atrocious. The worst fucking storytelling I have seen. And we've seen some bad shit. This takes the cake. Number one, she bites her on the back of the fucking neck and she comes up like she just ripped her fucking jugular vein up. What the fuck is that? She didn't even gnaw on her fucking... And that being said, her fucking doing that, Becky Lynch should have been laying up in the hospital bed for a fucking day. And Shayna Baszler should have spit a chunk of fucking skin off, or a chunk of flesh on the floor. You can't get me to buy anything about that fucking shit. Period. Bottom line. I hated the segment. It was the worst thing on Monday Night Raw.
It was fucking garbage. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it looks so horrible. Unbelievably fucking fake. This fucking potato-faced bitch comes out of the crowd and comes. Was she ravenous? Like I don't understand. Like she's supposed to be this fighter, and she comes in and immediately turns into Mike Tyson. Like what the fuck?
There's rumors that she's gonna be made into a cannibal character. Like yeah, I'll believe that way I see it.
Well,
that sounds so fucking stupid.
Sense.
She went from being like this badass MMA fighter to eating people? Like, what the fuck? And like you said, like she bites the back of her neck. She'd have to rip like fucking down to the bone to get that kind of blood from that area in your body.
There's not enough meat on the bone on the back of your neck for her to actually fucking do that.
What made this segment even worse for me? They put the bandage in the wrong spot.
Yeah, they put it on her where she bit her. Yeah. They put the bandage right here, but she bit her back here. Makes no sense.
It's like, what the fuck? How do you fuck that up?
It's
WWE. And then you have her afterwards, like getting into the ring. Owie, 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 owie. What the fuck? You should be like almost dead at this point in time, bleeding profusely like that.
The best part about that whole thing was she GTA'd an ambulance to get the hell out of there.
It just went from stupid to continually uphill stupid.
Yeah, I didn't like it when Stone Cold did it. He never really got to the point where he got something like that happen to him where he took the ambulance. I don't remember. But stop trying to make her like Stone Cold. It's just looking fucking bad. It's looking stupid. And it's making me hate Becky even more than I already fucking do.
The thing is, they wanted to go above and beyond to keep Becky relevant, and at the same time, they clowned Shayna Baszler. I mean, I'm not a big Shayna Baszler fan, but this seems like an odd choice for her character to be fucking biting people.
Right. Well, let's talk about this though, and I can believe it. Triple H had a press conference and he has said that Shayna Baszler is not on Raw. She will not be on Raw full time unless WWE Raw gives them something in return for her being there. Which Triple H has every right to be. Because they're now part of the main fucking roster. And he's trying to make it that way, which I don't blame him.
This is the problem with the women's division in general. Like, they swapped hands with the belts so frequently that there's nobody that hasn't fought somebody else. And the people that haven't actually fought for the title don't deserve to fight for the title because they're garbage. So, like, you've had this revolving door for the championship. Now you have to bring in Shayna Baszler because Becky Lynch has run through the roster. I actually liked what they were doing with her character, kind of becoming full of herself and being like, I've beaten everyone, I'm the man, and slowly, like, turn her full-fledged heel because of that, and then build up a babyface to take it off her. But she's still riding the line of babyface heel, and now they're going to bring in fucking Count Dracula to fight her at WrestleMania. It's
Count
like ridiculous.
Count Chocula. I fucking hated it. And I don't want to see fucking Becky versus fucking Shayna Baszler at WrestleMania.
How boring that match is going to be.
Do you want to know what a fall flat on your face booking would be? That is like worse than fucking Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
Because at least there's athleticism. Like, those two in the ring, like, say what you want about Becky, but she's not very athletic.
No.
Like, and Shayna Baszler moves like she's in mud, and that's her character type. So, like, you're going to see some of the most boring fucking wrestling. I'm just thinking of the WrestleMania card right now. It looks kind of shitty to me.
It does. I haven't seen most of it, but we'll see. But I just wanted to touch on that. I hated that segment. That was probably the worst thing on WWE TV this week. The worst thing.
They got rid of the Bobby Lashley fucking Lana bullshit going on, and they replaced it with this.
No, that's going on. They did it on YouTube instead.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's where it can stay.
Yep.
Talk about that. Let's talk about Rusev hasn't been on, and it's because, and the reason that hasn't been on is because Rusev is in contract talks. So if he does resign, rest assured, it's coming back.
Oh my God. Saudi shit show as part of that gauntlet match or whatever that thing is, but I guarantee he won't win it. It'll be R-Truth is what I'm thinking, because they're going to do a big special for him right afterwards, so it probably means they're going to give him the token win.
Whoa, what?
That there's supposed to be some gauntlet match or some kind of weird match, like a 6-way match or a 5-way match for like some trophy at the Saudi show with Rusev. It's supposed to be Rusev, Lashley, Ricochet, R-Truth, and Andrade. And since they're doing R-Truth WWE 24 special afterwards, they're pretty much just guaranteeing he's going to win the trophy just so they can say that he won.
I don't buy that. I mean, yeah, they might, but just because they're doing a special doesn't mean he's winning.
I mean, those trophies mean nothing. Like, for fuck's sakes, nobody cares. I mean, right. if it's like, I don't see the correlation between him winning and viewership bumping up for the 24/7 thing on WWE. No. I don't see that because I think most people now know the fucking Saudi Arabian shit's garbage. Mm-hmm. It's all bullshit. They'll walk around with the fucking gigantic trophy for like a week before it falls apart.
Don't even try it.
No, I wouldn't.
So apparently, Matt Hardy is not done yet with WWE. Apparently, he's actually going to have a match Monday with Randy Orton.
So I got questions about Matt Hardy in general. Like,
I do too.
Like, I know a lot of people, and I mean, it'd be nice to see him get to a place where he's a bit more creatively allowed to do what he did in the past when he left. But how much gas does this guy have left in the tank?
He doesn't have very much.
I mean, walks around like he's fucking fused from taint to forehead.
Yeah, I was a fan of the Hardys. I wouldn't say that I was like, oh, I got to see them. I got to go meet them. I got to do this. I've never been that way with any superstar. I was never that kind of fan with the Hardys. I enjoyed seeing them when they were there. But Matt Hardy really doesn't do it for me. I mean, the broken gimmick worked. It was good, entertaining TV. But now, I don't want to see it. I don't want to fucking see it on AEW. I don't want to see it in Impact again. I don't want to see it at fucking Ring of Honor, I just don't want to fucking see it. It's dead. It's been ruined. WWE ruined it, but it's ruined. Why do people want to fucking stop living in the fucking past and live in the future? This is another fucking issue that I have with fucking wrestling. They sit in the past. The past was great. Wrestling is never going to move forward if they don't, especially WWE is never going to move forward if they keep living in the past. That's why I didn't give a shit about fucking Edge showing up. That's why I don't give a shit about the fucking Undertaker. That's why I don't give a shit about The Rock. That's why I don't give a shit about John Cena. That's why I don't give a shit about fucking Kane. That's why I don't give a shit about the Nostalgia Acts anymore. They're dead. Where are they going? Pretty soon they're going to be like, well, Edge should be a world champion. Why? Why does he need to be a world champion? It makes no sense.
The thing. Like they need to be doing, and they went overkill on these fucking geriatric fucks, man. You need to, every WrestleMania have one nostalgia act. That's it. Every SummerSlam, maybe throw one in there. But they went, like, Undertaker came back, and then he continued to wrestle every fucking pay-per-view all year round until his hips exploded.
Yep.
Well, now we're getting it. I could call it Saudi shit show. I don't know. It's Saudi Showdown, Super Showdown. I'm just gonna call it shit show.
We're getting them there. I'm okay with them. Goldberg. I'm okay with that happening in Saudi Arabia because that show literally is in its own capsule. It's not really relevant for the most part.
It's not even for the fans here. It's for the fans of Saudi Arabia. That's what those shows are for. And until people fucking realize that, they're going to continue to bitch about it. But it's not for us. It is for, yes, you can watch it. Unless you get on a plane, fly over to Saudi Arabia, and go fucking sit in the stands, which, good luck, because it's very fucking expensive. Shut the fuck up. You're paying $9.99 a fucking month to fucking watch the shit on a streaming service. Why are you complaining about? And I get it. I get why people complain. They want to see good wrestling. But again, it is nothing but a glorified house show. It is not a pay-per-view.
I know. I was just saying that a nostalgia because Goldberg's there. So
I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind Saudi Arabian shows being nostalgia act heavy just because they're super gimmick and really, like you said, not really for the North American audience as much as it for the audience there. Yep. I have a problem when WrestleMania rolls around and 3 of the 12 to 14 matches are with people that are 60 years old. Right. That should no longer be wrestling, because then you have this stacked roster of younger talent that you can't build or choose not to because they're not building a wrestler is not as easy as cashing in on one that's been built a long time ago.
Right.
But you cash in so often that it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Well, look at how WrestleMania was last year. It's either that or you got the 2 idiots from Saturday Night Live who have to be clowns there for the whole thing, and then they have to do an angle out of it afterwards saying, oh, the WWE Universe was mean to us. It's like, you guys weren't over enough to do it. You're not over enough to do this. Like, let this shit go. It's like either nostalgia acts or this crap. It's like, like you said, JP, move this shit forward.
Well, especially for WrestleMania, that should be the pinnacle of the wrestling portion. Entertainment as well, but entertainment and WrestleMania for the longest, like for the last multiple years, how often has wrestling and entertainment either been 50-50 or entertainment's been 60-40 to the wrestling? They go overboard and try to make it like a fucking Grammys or Oscars at the same time as having wrestling there.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not a fan of it. Speaking of WrestleMania, The Miz said if he doesn't main event WrestleMania 37, he's retiring. You know what I say to that? Goodbye. See you, bitch.
Fuck off, man. Learn how to wrestle where you do. Like, the fucking guy can't. Like I've said 1,000 times, the guy looks like he can't hurt anybody. He wrestles. The reason he never gets injured because he's not fucking fighting at all.
Right. Yep.
Fuck him.
Yep.
He's good on the mic, but holy shit, is he crap in the
just
ring.
Because, and this is another problem that I have. So just because he's good on the mic, he deserves to be a fucking main event. And there are podcasters out there that say that he deserves a shot at being a main eventer. Why? Just because he can talk? He needs to carry a match. When he was the champion, I hated it. I wanted them to take the fucking title, and not because he was a fucking heel. He was terrible. He couldn't carry a match.
Right.
Everybody that he was in the ring with carried him.
Well, look at it now. Almost every wrestler that's out there that's on the roster for WWE and for any other company, they all can wrestle.
Yes.
Almost every single one of them can put on good in-ring work. The one intangible that so many people are missing is the voice. Yep. He's got that, but that's all he's got. Yeah. It's like, fuck, man. They either get somebody that can talk or they get somebody that can wrestle, and very, very rarely do they get somebody that can do both. Mm-hmm. And when they do, they fucking destroy them anyway. Yep. Like, I'd say Kevin Owens can do both, and yet I could give less of a shit about him right now.
Yep. Agreed. I'm still waiting to see where that storyline goes.
I mean, the one benefit I will say with the storyline with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins is they're using these single stars that would have been with Brock Lesnar out there, that would have been for the WWE Championship. But it's the one good thing with Brock Lesnar having that title is it's highlighting tag team wrestling, and it's highlighting the tag belts, which, in all honesty, have been absolute shit. But all it is showing them. It's not showcasing tag team wrestling. It feels like I'm watching a singles feud, but the tag team belts are involved.
Right. Agreed.
And I as a person, I like The Miz. I have no problem with the guy. His character is very good when he's in the way he's talkative and stuff. That if he's gonna retire, let him go be Morrison's mouthpiece or something. That because goodness knows Morrison can't really talk that much. I mean, he's decent. He's better in the ring than The Miz is. If you make The Miz his mouthpiece, I could see that working out better. That's probably where it's gonna go, unless Miz turns on him and then that gets him over as a heel and gets Morrison over as a face. The only other way to do it will be to bring in what's her name? Taya, and make her his mouthpiece, and she's not much better.
You know what? I'm not going to say he's good because he's not, and I'm not going to say he's terrible when it comes to fucking Johnny Nitro or whatever the fuck they call him now. But when it comes to The Miz, the reason I don't care about this guy, the last 2 years with this dude, he was on track to actually be extremely relevant, and then he had a kid, I think, and that's where everything kind of went out of whack for him. Now he comes in, he's a face, he's a heel, he's a face, he's a heel. I don't know what the fuck the guy is. The guy comes out one night and he's like buddy with Daniel Bryan. The next night, because Johnny Morrison came back, he's like, oh, I guess I'm heel now. My friend's here, I gotta be heel.
It's not just that, it's that what did they ever do to Shane? Lose over and over and over and over again. It didn't make him believable. It sure made him look like a chump when he lost to Shane time and time again. It's like he should have won at least one of the matches, but it's like, what did we have him lose? 0-3. That's the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my life. It's like, let the guy win one.
I would also say, when it comes to John Morrison, at least, I really don't understand why WWE went after him. In my honest opinion, the time of John Morrison in WWE had come to pass. He's had success in other companies outside of WWE, and his return to WWE, it's not like everybody was in love with the return of this guy. It was kind of like it went on deaf ears. The only way that they could return and make it somewhat intriguing is to pair him with The Miz, which actually brings The Miz down to be with Morrison. If they had an active tag team division that isn't just a clusterfuck of tag teams that do nothing, then maybe I could say the joining or him pairing with Miz was okay. But other than that, I feel like it's two singles wrestlers that are going to be the worst at the end of the day for that pairing.
Right, it's like WWE they get on this hot streak with tag teams and then they get cold feet and shut down. They get on this hot streak with tag teams and then shut it down. You're never gonna see tag teams go, to a spotlight like they did back in the 80s or 90s with Demolition and LOD and Nasty Boys, all the cool tag teams. It's like that time is over, sadly. It's like if they would take time to build up tag teams and make them relevant, then they could. But it's like Vince gets tired of it 3 seconds after. It's like, I'm done with it, and it's like, let's push him as a single star.
That's the thing. The WWE is famous for when their tag team division is floundering, they throw together single stars and say, oh, well, now we've got a bunch of names that people like in the tag division. But they push those rivalries, and I'm specifically talking about Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. They push them as single rivalries, but include multiple people. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like a tag team rivalry. Right now, it feels like an actual faction versus a fucking weird pairing of Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and the Vikings. Like, why are they together? I understand Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens a bit more, but the Viking Raiders, but what the fuck?
And now
why are these guys there?
Joe is supposed to come back Monday night.
Well, he came back the other night,
didn't
he?
Last week.
Big Show?
He took him out. Oh, Big Show.
Big
I thought you said
cares?
Samoa Joe.
Who cares?
Yeah, I hope Big Show never comes back. Fuck him.
No, he's reportedly going to come back Monday.
Well, yes, because he's probably going to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. And they have to promote his Netflix show coming out, which I don't blame him for. I mean, that, if you want to promote it, that's cool, but there's better ways to do it than just like, let's have him show up on Raw for a week and let's have him be in a fist fight match, which was
I don't mind him showing up on Raw because, look, Raw is really... We know what is Raw. What is Raw? So what I'm getting at, and I understand people bitch that Raw sucks because they aren't. What do you hear people complain about Raw all the fucking time? And WWE Smackdown. What do you hear them complain about all the time? They are not building storylines. Raw and SmackDown should be shows where you build storylines to pay-per-views, which is what they used to do back in the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. But they're not doing that anymore. They're just putting on a show because it makes them money. That's it. They put on a fucking extravagant production show because it makes them money.
Right.
That's the only reason that they're doing these shows anymore. They're not doing it.
It's paint by numbers, man.
Yes. They don't.
Well, what I'm hoping is that now that they got rid of Fastlane, apparently for this year, we'll see if they bring it back later next year. Hopefully they'll
get rid of Fastlane, but they get rid of Fastlane and then they do Super Showdown.
Yeah. So it's just replaced with something else. I'm just saying
that they'll have a month in between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. So I'm hoping they'll actually use that time to build up storylines on Raw and SmackDown because they're not going to have a pay-per-view in between. They're going to have time in between, so use that time on Raw and SmackDown to build these storylines. They used to do it on Superstars and Challenge and Livewire and all the other shows, and then now that they don't have those, it's let's just throw it on the YouTube channel and let's hope people watch, which they do. People do watch it on YouTube. Yeah. But it feels like that they've lost interest in doing it on the TV shows, which is where, like you said, they should be doing it.
Right.
So you look at WrestleMania, right? Let's say there's 12 matches on the card.
Yep.
That pay-per-view is so big, and they have so much time where they can build because it's technically from the Rumble onwards.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I can imagine probably about 3, maybe 4 matches that are actually built with storylines. I can assume that by the end of the day, they'll probably have 8 of the 12 matches that are storyline built. But then I look at NXT Portland or AEW Revolution. Mm-hmm. There's not a match on that card that doesn't have a storyline behind it. Every match should mean something. Every single match. You have the time to build it.
We'll get to that because there's something really important that I want to talk about with NXT. It's something that even AEW is missing the boat on a little bit. Anything else with Raw or anything? Okay. Before we go on to the other promotions, we'll stick with WWE just for a little bit longer. Apparently, and Bobbitt wanted to talk about this. I don't know why. But go ahead, Bobbitt.
The WWE has officially brought back the ice cream bars that everybody's been wanting.
Has anybody
this time they're not.
Has anybody ever had one of these ice cream bars? And he turns into BB-8.
What?
You cut out. Say what you were going to say.
I had one. That's why I'm going to try these new ones.
Have you ever had these before?
No.
I've heard that they taste like shit. That's just what I've heard.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't give a fuck. If they're anything like the television they put on, then
I'm sure they are. Just like the fucking television. What?
I just remember John Cena saying they went in milky and they came out milky. That's all I remember his promo saying that. So
maybe it's a lactose intolerance.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I could give a shit about the ice cream bars. I mean, the only reason that they're coming back, I don't even know why. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, CM Punk's coming back now because they're bringing back the ice cream bars." I can't fucking wait for that shit. Fuck out of here with that.
If my Walmart ever gets them, I'm gonna get a box and try them here. I'm
gonna go buy and then throw them in the fucking dumpster.
WrestleMania.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't care. I'll never eat them. I'll never probably see them. They probably won't even be available in Canada.
Yeah, well, I that sounds a lot like WWE. No, but like I said, the only reason that they're coming back is because it's people talking. Because who's attached. Who's attached to the ice cream bars.
Yeah, bring back CM Punk and fucking behead him on live television.
I would.
Please. Just fucking come out there with the masks and the cameras.
Yep.
Just fucking
clean
off the fucking shoulders.
Right. Trek, you had a bit of news.
It appears that Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are going to take an extended hiatus after WrestleMania. So this gives more precedence to the fact.
What do you mean they're going on hiatus?
Just one moment. Yeah, they're
going on vacation.
You said an extended hiatus. Why?
Because fuck them. I don't want to see them anymore.
But why are they going on an extended hiatus?
Because of this.
It seems like a very poorly timed hiatus for at least Becky Lynch, unless she doesn't want to run her course, which she already has.
Well, if that happens, then you already know what's happening.
Yeah, she's gonna lose, and then she's gonna be cannibalized on live TV, and then she's gonna go on vacation, and Seth Rollins is gonna eat her as well.
True.
If you know what he means.
No, Trent, I was literally asking, what does the report say about them going on hiatus? Why? You have a reason why?
No, it just said that they're supposed to go on the hiatus after WrestleMania. Which
maybe they have
now everybody's saying that it means they're going to get married right after WrestleMania. They want to give them time off for that. Which could give precedent to the Shayna Baszler coming up and taking the title off of her, which I don't want to see. I'm sorry.
I hope on their honeymoon that they are on a cruise and the boat sinks. I am so over Becky and Seth that I give two shits.
I feel like the actual relationship, as soon as they formed a relationship, it was the beginning of the end of both of their careers. Both of them took a nosedive immediately because they did that stupid shit where they paired them together on live TV and nobody wanted to see it because they have literally zero chemistry together.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you think it's bad now, wait until they have kids. It's gonna be even worse.
Shit. That's all I'm saying. I'll punt them motherfuckers.
The only godsend would be like Becky Lynch has kids. She's not gonna be on TV for a while, and that's away from her character. I mean, if they take breaks, then they take breaks. I don't really give a shit if they leave for a while. Especially Seth Rollins. Like the guy's he's just fucking around. He's not really doing anything worth anything. Oh. Becky Lynch, however, is she leaves, and that's probably gonna be best for her too. So the fans
it will be, but I can just see it now. People are going to be like, I miss Becky, and it's been a day, people.
Sasha Banks. I miss Sasha Banks. Just go on her Instagram. She takes a picture every fucking 30 seconds, so you'll be fine.
Right? MLW is accusing WWE of contract tampering. What does that
Do we know
mean?
exactly what that means?
No. Well, they do. They say that it has. I did not know this, but apparently Davey Boy Smith Jr. was on WWE's The Bump, and that's not what the contract dispute was. Apparently, they did a Hart Dynasty reunion there, Heather.
Yes, TJ and Natty were there
Natalia.
also.
Yeah, Natty's. But anyway, yeah, so apparently, and I'm thinking it might be because Killer Cross was signed with MLW.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he was the one that they're talking about. I don't know, but that could be. So yeah. Actually, let's talk about that. Now, there was some weird stuff going on Friday night. If anybody watched it, do you remember and I know that everybody knows what I'm talking about because Basement brought this up. We were watching SmackDown last night and there was glitches happening. And they weren't happening. You knew it was WWE doing it because they weren't normal looking glitches. Who could it be? It has to be somebody. And me and Basement are kind of in a disagreement here. I think Killer Cross is a big enough. He's more well known enough for them to debut him like this. Because I think we're in disagreement because of not only the way he was treated by Impact, but the way people know who he is. And
a lot of people that I have argued with on Twitter knew who Scarlett was, so if they know Scarlett, they're definitely going to know Cross.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna say, like, I mean, I think I'm looking at the audience that's, I guess, not the audience that's so active on Twitter or anything like that. The bare bones casual, and I actually don't think you need to know somebody in order for them to be debuted on Raw.
Right.
It might actually work in their favor to have less people know him. Now, I don't know a lot about Killer Cross. A lot of people have praised him, but if he can work on the mic, like, and he can work in the ring, then there's literally no reason why they wouldn't propel him to the main roster. There's also another name out there too, in Brian Cage, who could be.
That could be one, or it could also be Lance Archer.
So there's 3 guys out there that have yet to announce where they're going.
Yes.
We know one of those 3 is most likely are going to be the guy that is being glitched.
Well, Killer Cross has signed with WWE. He is at the Performance Center. Where, if it's more likely him than not, but I would not be surprised if it's one of the other 2. I would more go with the Lance Archer than I would with Brian Cage. Brian Cage, unless they actually bring that Terminator gimmick that he had going on.
I'm wondering, like, okay, so whoever it ends up being, where do you think this fits within, like, what is he going to debut doing? Because I'm trying to think of, like, where he would fit in current storylines, who he could potentially go after.
He'll probably go after Drew McIntyre. He'll go after Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan is my pick. Or Daniel
Bryan. That's because it's on SmackDown. It was not on Raw. So cancel out Drew McIntyre. It's going to be either
Roman Reigns
or Daniel Bryan. Because they did the glitches right in the middle of their match. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, what are those 2 guys actually doing, right? Roman Reigns is still fucking caught up with Baron Corbin, but that's on his last legs. And Daniel Bryan's literally not doing anything. So my choice is Daniel Bryan, really.
My choice is Daniel Bryan, too. And I think it could be Killer Cross.
Well, we'll have to see if they actually do. Cause they didn't do it on Raw this week. Cause like you said, they didn't do it on there. We'll have to see if they actually do happen to do it on Raw this week, just to throw a swerve and see if everybody notices.
I'd like that. I actually would prefer them to do it on both shows and keep it kind of like a guessing game.
What?
Well, here I think the only reason why they get it on SmackDown.
Don't leave me hanging, Bobbit. Goddammit. Why?
Well, I said I think he's coming to SmackDown.
Okay, that's it. You left me hanging for that. Just kidding. I think it's going to be on SmackDown. I don't think it's going to be on. I don't think it's going to be on. I think it's going to be on SmackDown. But we'll see. But again, I don't mind if they actually throw a little curveball in there and do it on Raw. And then whatever. I think they're just trying to copy what they did on NXT. It's just whatever. One-upsmanship. That's what Vince does. So yeah. What else is there with WWE? Is that about it?
I think that's about it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Does this count for WWE as Val Venis? The whole story of Val Venis?
I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay, cool. I was just asking because you used to work for WWE. That's all.
Getting to it. Cool. Your shit. All right.
Explode your shit.
So AEW, and since Trek wants to fucking prematurely ejaculate all over the fucking place, Nyla Rose won the women's title, women's world title on AEW, and which I don't care, I don't mind, because again, it is scripted storytelling.
Choose my words carefully.
I'm trying to, because I don't want people to think that I'm a fucking transphobe here. However, I will say this. I can agree to a certain point what he is saying. And I'm talking about Val Venis. Val Venis came out and said, well, this is a setback for... And he's a fan of Nyla Rose's. He's said it. But this kind of is a setback for women's wrestling in the sense that this is so hard. This is so hard because I don't want people to think that I hate transgender people. I don't. The thing that bothers me is, yes, she identifies as a woman, but is she a woman? That's the thing. Biologically, she is not a woman. To me, biologically, she is not a woman. For her, she is more physically enhanced than... Because she was a guy wrestler. She is more physically enhanced than a Riho. If you've noticed, she's faster than Riho. She's more, like, tons stronger. And I know Rio's only 98 fucking pounds. But still, she's... Even with other women in the division, she's way more powerful. She's way faster, even though she's 190 pounds. I just,
Yeah, I mean, this is, in all honesty, it's just, they have her, they signed her. If she can't compete for the women's championship and she can't compete for the men's championship, why sign her at all, right? She has to have, there has to be a place for her, and I'm okay with her being put in the women's division. It's wrestling. If it was, like we said before, if it's an actual pro sport, this is like the argument for like actual pro wrestling, like actual wrestling. Having transgender people, it almost like they don't have enough of them, but they almost need to have their own division because it's not fair for the women if a man comes in and who is by all means has a skeletal structure of a man, going to have more of the actual gifts physically that a man would have versus women. It's not fair to the rest of the women there. I don't think this argument really transcends pro wrestling as much. I think we can. I mean, she's by all means you would look at her and say she's a woman at this point in time. So I think I can get behind that. I think it might have been a bigger deal if the actual women's division in AEW was worth watching. But right now, that she's like the only person that can actually fucking move around properly.
Yeah.
Riho is good, but unbelievable as a champion of anything.
Yeah. Agreed. I just, Nyla Rose, I don't mind her being champion. Again, I don't care. It's scripted storytelling, so whatever. But if it was a women's event, essentially, if this was not scripted, I would say she needs to be in her own weight division. They would have to do weight divisions for women because there's just no fucking way that I would allow her to wrestle Riho. Period.
It was a mistake for AEW anyway, in my opinion. Like, I mean, you look at what they started with their women's roster. Mm-hmm. I would have thrown it on her to begin with. Riho should have always been the underdog, fighting and going and clawing to get that title. Instead, they put the title on her and did nothing with her, and now they've remedied that mistake, I guess. But the women's division, Nyla Rose is not the biggest problem with that division.
No, it's not.
No. Essentially, and I'm going to say this, Britt Baker is what is wrong with that division. Because everybody else is about as green as she is. There's a couple. The Japanese women are so far ahead of any of the women that they have in that company that it is just like, it's unbelievable to even think about putting a title on a fucking Britt Baker or
AEW
else.
boggles my mind. It makes it like that the women's division and the issues they face with it makes literally no sense. They had all the time in the world to fucking build a division that's respectable. They have some of the best male talents to fucking wrestle in the squared circle. Yet they never thought about the women's division, and like there's fucking, it's so stupid because they went out and they're like, oh, we're gonna be all about diversity and we're gonna promote women and trans people and gay people. But that was just a selling point at this point in time. You didn't promote shit because the rest of the divisions suck ass except for the men's division. The women's division is garbage. Whoever the gay person you never see, so whatever.
Yes, yeah, I don't ever want.
Well, it also doesn't help that half the women's division can't show up most of the time.
Well, that's not on the women's talent. That's on AEW.
No, I agree. That's the not thing is, talent. That's the AEW. They should have done a better job of coordinating and checking, but no, they just had to, let's throw it on TV instead of just building it up. It's like, I wouldn't have minded if they had built up the women's division and said, we're going to have a tournament after that when we get all these women in here and then we can do it. But it's like, let's get this on here so we can go on TV and stuff. It's like, it just felt like they went ass backwards.
I feel like AEW wants to be a wrestling company for wrestlers. And when I say that, they want to give the wrestlers leniency to do what they want, where they want. They want to give them everything that a lot of the other companies won't allow. But there's a reason some of those companies don't allow this, because you run into a fucking clusterfuck when you're trying to book a division where you can't trust somebody to be there because they have because you allow them to go everywhere else and wrestle. You can't build a literal wrestling division not knowing 90% of your talent's going to be there week in, week out. Right. You have to lock these people down. You have the money, pay them, make it happen. I'm sure some of these wrestlers wouldn't mind being locked down.
Yep.
Fuck. Nope, I don't know. It's just like that women's division to me makes literally no sense. And how it is as bad as it is inexcusable.
And I will say this, that title does not fit Nyla Rose. And I'm not saying it just look at that title. It does not.
Like fucking
it
wristband.
Don't look right on her.
No, it looks like a wristband.
It's not even. I'm not talking about actually fitting. I'm talking about the look of the title on her. Just don't look right at all.
Like Truck said, you remember those like styrofoam belts you can get back in the day when like we had like the styrofoam WWE Championship that was like $20. That's what it looks like. It looks exactly like a toy. It just make it look legit, man. All the other titles look good. Fuck, man. Why does this one look like a pile of crap?
Right.
It's like like I said, they should have, like we said, they should have taken the time and they could have built up to do a tournament. It's like, if you're gonna do women's division, you don't need a title at first on there. It's like you could build it up to one of their bigger pay-per-views. Say, hey, we're gonna debut this on the pay-per-view night, and we're gonna debut it on Dynamite the next week. It's like it just felt like they had to rush it just to make sure that they got it out there. It's just like it looks like shit.
Well, that's a good representative of the actual division. I mean, I don't really have much else to say on Bros, but I do have something to say about AEW.
Yeah, I do too, and there's the champion. It was on my timeline today. On my timeline, I jumped on there and looked at it, and I'm like, we're really having this fucking discussion. So I got involved in the discussion. Chris Jericho. Which Chris Jericho is better? This Chris Jericho or WWE's Chris Jericho? Personally, and this is speaking on the microphone. Chris Jericho, the thing about Chris Jericho is, yes, he transcends. He
reinvents
himself. However, if you look at him now, he's really not that much different now than he was back then. He's still the same type of character. He can still do it, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, I would say, like, okay, so Chris Jericho is Chris Jericho, yes. He's still always going to be arrogant and pompous. That's the type of characters that he's best with. Mm-hmm. The thing that he does is he generates interest and buzz through segments that he's part of.
Right.
Because, like, the list...
But he's always done that, though.
Yeah.
But the best promo... And I've said this, and I will continue to say this, the best promo he has ever done was the night he debuted on Raw. If you have not seen it, you need to watch it. And what he silences The Rock, who is considered to be the greatest talker in wrestling history up to this point. And that's arguable. But The Rock, who was one of the great talkers of his era, he silenced him. And that was perfect. The way he debuted. That is the greatest. That is better. That is a better promo than anything he has done recently. That's all.
Jericho is he's very similar to The Rock in the way that they cut promos, because they're quick-witted, smart, off the cuff, and they understand comedy, both of them, and they understand the element of wrestling that involves comedy and when to be comedic, when to be serious. Jericho is a treasure, and he's been a treasure in WWE and AEW. I don't think that should even be a question. Which version of Jericho is the best? Because, like you said, he's the same Jericho. It's just minor nuances that have changed him. I've enjoyed his whole career, to be honest. So
yeah, this person actually said that WCW Jericho is the best ever. I'm like, you need to lay off the wacky tobacco.
That was for me. That was the worst of the bunch. But
that was the worst of. Well, he was underutilized, but I'm just speaking in terms of you're trying to compare WWE and AEW Jericho to WCW Jericho. You want to talk about a reinvents himself. That's like a reinvention. His character arc from WCW on into today is one of the great story arcs it's up there with Triple H. I'll say that because Basement always talks about Triple H and his story arc.
Yeah, he's got it. Like, I agree with you. But both guys had stellar story arcs from start to finish. I had a couple other things I wanted to. Well, one other thing really to talk about with AEW. All right, so first I'm gonna say it was a decent promo cut by fucking Santana or Ortiz, whichever the fuck guy cut it in the when he was with Jim Ross talking about his fucking dad or some shit. Yeah. I felt like the promo he cut was out of place.
Yeah.
Because his spot with the Inner Circle doesn't like the seriousness of the promo doesn't really jive with his spot in the Inner Circle, and it didn't really jive with how good the match was at the end because the match wasn't that great in my opinion at the end of the night. So you have the standalone great promo, but nothing else really jives with it. I don't know. There was a standout. That's just something I want to, I guess, look at or talk about.
We actually streamed. I actually streamed AEW this week. And there's a reason why. They have not really delivered a very good show for me personally to sit down and I quit paying attention. Especially when Brubaker came out, I just stopped paying attention. In fact, I went the fuck off. If I remember correctly, I went the fuck off during her fucking talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember in WWE, like the hate we would give to, who was it? Was it Carmella? Who was it that we were like, I hate her because I actually despise her. I do not want to see her anymore. She's got that go away heat. Not, I'm intrigued because you're a terrible person and I can get behind the things you're saying. She has, like, Brubaker to me, she's pulling off a heel character, yeah, but she's pulling off a heel character I don't want to see. I don't want to see her ever. She can't wrestle, and she's just annoying.
Yeah, she is AEW.
What is Naya?
She is AEW's version of Baron Corbin.
Well, she's even worse than Baron Corbin.
Oh, she is. And I can wholeheartedly agree. Is it
she
Naya?
Reminds me
it
of
could
Lana.
be Naya, but I think it's actually...
I think it was either Carmella. It was probably Carmella, but she also reminds me of Lana.
Yes.
Oh.
Just someone you don't want to see anymore because what they're doing is not. It's not good. It's not so bad that it's good or anything like that. It's just bad. She comes out there and starts fucking spouting off fucking dental lingo. It's like, shut the fuck up, please, man.
And that's where I went the fuck up.
Learn how to wrestle before you can fucking run your mouth about anything. And it's not like it's hard because a lot of people might hear me say that and say, "Oh, you just don't like her because whatever. She's doing such a good job as a heel." Mm-hmm. She's not doing just such a good job as a heel because there's no payoff.
Right.
She can't pay it off in the ring. When she wrestles, she's a fucking limbs all over the fucking place like a spider. Like, fucking hand, look at her.
Yep.
Sorry, the last thing I want to talk about with AEW. I watched New Beginning, the New Japan show, and I was like, I mean, it's a small detail, but I for me, it's not at all. So Jon Moxley versus Suzuki, in that match, he got his eye patch ripped off and his eye was fine.
Right.
On AEW, he's there with an eye patch again. Does that make sense?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And they're playing it up because, like, ever since he got that injury, they're always like, focusing on the eye. Go, it's eye for an eye match. Yep. But we just saw you a couple days ago, and your fucking eye was fine. You were looking through it. It was the good 15 minutes of the match, and you had no fucking eye patch.
Right.
Like, that attention to detail, knowing where their roots are, knowing AEW literally came from New Japan. Mm-hmm. Why do you think your audience wouldn't pick up on this?
Because they're turning a blind eye to. And I don't mean that as a pun.
Literally.
They're turning a blind eye to what AEW. It's that the AEW just can't do anything fucking wrong mentality, and and that's why I hate AEW fans that think like that, because you're not a true wrestling fan if you think like that. Because if he shows up with the eye patch, if he shows up without the eye patch on, okay, so he's a separate character, which would even piss me off even more. Can't use the same fucking name then.
He's not a separate character. That's the thing that killed.
That's what I'm getting at.
The willingness to forego continuity, knowing that all these fucking assholes that are there, all the people that run AEW, they're all wrestlers for the most part. They probably all watched New Beginning. Mm-hmm. They all saw this shit, and they're like, "Well, maybe we should." And for what? At this point in time, is he wearing an eye patch? For what? There's no real reason. There's not enough of a reason to keep the patch on him to forego like believability. It's just it was so for me. It took me out of the match completely. I'm like, I don't care about this. I also don't care about Jon Moxley. I feel like the guy, like whoever gave this motherfucker Wrestler of the Year needs to be shot because he can't wrestle. He can't fucking wrestle.
Yeah, and he beat Minoru Suzuki too.
Yeah, and that match was so underwhelming for me.
Yeah, Minoru Suzuki probably didn't even get in half of this shit, did he?
It was okay. So the match that happened right before this was way more brutal than this match.
See, that would have saved
the most brutal match on the card.
I would have saved the brutality for this match.
But the thing is, they didn't. This okay. If this was going to be the most brutal match and it was played out the way it was, it was just no. This reminded me of fucking Kenny Omega, and well, it's not even as brutal as that. This was just not a good match. It should have been. There should have been blood. There should have been a lot of beatdown from Minoru Suzuki to Jon Moxley, and it was just a blah. It was a shit my pants match. How can the best wrestler in the world, the guy who's getting claimed to be the best wrestler of the world this year, never have a 5-star match? He's incapable of having a 5-star match.
It's because I kind of figured why he won Wrestler of the Year. It's because fucking he beat the man. Which, fuck off. There was a debut on AEW that literally, in my opinion, it fell flat on its fucking
terrible debut.
Horrible. Absolutely fucking atrocious.
They're so like fucking, and I said this while watching. They're so like, I don't understand how they could be this stupid.
They're nonchalant about it.
You have the Butcher and the Blade show up, and nobody knows who the fuck they are, and they do the surprise thing. Instead, now like you have Jericho start talking. Oh, I've scoured the earth for an assassin to beat you up. Leave it at that. Let him show up at the end of the match and beat up Jon Moxley. There's your debut. Instead, he goes on to tell everybody who it is. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's going to show me the Islanders. And I'm like, really, dude?
Oh, my God. Why are you... Okay. Why are you debuting somebody by telling us who it is before even showing him in a backstage segment with Chris Jericho?
Right.
Like, do these guys even watch wrestling? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I no.
And I like Jeff Cobb.
I do too. I really like Jeff Cobb. It's just what a bad way to introduce a character.
Shit, man. If anybody wants to see Jeff Cobb in one of his prime matches, look up Lucha Underground when he was Matanza. The guy was a fucking beast.
Yeah, he's unnaturally strong. He's great. He kind of reminds me of it's like Taz and Rhino combined.
Yeah.
From the ECW days for both those dudes.
Right.
But what a shitty debut.
It was bad. It fell flat on his face, and it did nothing. And I mean, he went to the right place, but for him to debut like that was
they did more of a debut for fucking Luther. Luther had a better debut than this guy.
Yes, he did.
Now he may not even be used because the Nightmare Collective is supposed to be dead.
Who cares?
I don't understand how you can debut. Surprise! Here's a guy nobody knows, but we're going to debut him in ring. Here's a guy that people do know, and we're going to debut him by showing you a package and telling you he's here.
I thought it was funny when it was, what is it, Dr. Luther, whatever his name was, that everybody kept saying it was Billy Corgan. I'm like, no.
Unless Billy Corgan became like a monster overnight.
Right.
Billy Corgan got Bane's Venom somehow from Batman, I guess. I don't know. It's like, holy shit.
What?
Billy Corgan looked like he fucking rolled out of a cancer ward. Like, I don't understand where they're going with this fucking guy coming in all juiced up.
Right.
Yeah, that's flat.
And really, I mean, again, AEW this week, good Lord. And both shows, both NXT, and I think the reason NXT doesn't get the higher amount of views is because it's on the network the next fucking day.
Yeah.
So people need to stop with this. Well, NXT loses again. Did they really though? Did they really? Because honestly, I think they're putting on a better product, a better show than AEW. If you are basing it off of ratings, yeah, of course, more people are going to watch AEW because again, NXT comes on the network the next fucking day, and they can watch it there. But if I'm basing it on booking and how it's presented and the product itself, NXT hands down wins. They're probably won. They've gone to head what 19 times. I bet you they've won like 17 of those times. NXT is just better.
Right.
It's just better.
I think a lot of that problem lies within the comparisons of rosters too. Like AEW, it seems like they have a good segment or two a show, but then there's these black holes that exist on every show that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're like everybody else, we need to give these wrestlers time to go. Sometimes you don't need to give these wrestlers time to go. If they look like they just entered wrestling school, you don't need to give them 20 minutes.
Right.
The women's roster is just so bad, and it's unwatchable for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
The only time that it's okay is when you have Riho or Nyla Rose or her name's Shida or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe Chris Statlander. She's not. I'm not a fan of her anyway. But you only have 3 or 4 of the 16 or 10 people you have on the roster that are actually worth watching, and then you have the men's roster, and they're going. I feel like they're going to buckle under some of the overtly gimmicky things that they do.
Yes. I agree. That is one thing that annoyed the shit out of me with AEW going back to the women's division. When Nyla Rose won, what did they fucking do? They went backstage, Nyla Rose is talking shit, Kenny Omega's there, and they're at a fucking commercial. You can't hear a fucking thing that anybody is saying. It was probably important.
I watched it, and it wasn't on commercial when I saw it, and it was not good. Well, first of all, they have the women in the back. Which, if that's your women's roster, it's like, why aren't you congratulating me? There's like 4 women back there. Where's everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
You're the best of 5 people? Like, who gives a shit? She's like... And she goes back there and she's like, "Where's Jericho? I want a bit of the bubbly. Why aren't you guys throwing me a party?" And Kenny Omega is like, "I don't like. I'm in like grade 9 drama. Like the guy can't act for the fucking damn."
No, you're right. He looked like he wanted to fucking stab himself in the throat.
I suppose and I love Jim Ross. I grew up in the 80s and 90s when it happened, when the Attitude Era was big. Please get him off TV. Get him and Excalibur off TV. If it was Tony Schiavone and Taz, I would be happy with that. That's fine. But Jim Ross is on there, and when he did the interview with was it Santana?
I don't know.
One of those two.
It just seemed like he was just tired. It seemed like he was going through the motions. And then Excalibur doesn't help because Excalibur's like, "It's the Butcher and the Blade." He acts like everybody should know. It's like Jim Ross is like, who the hell are those guys? I give him credit for saying that. Like I said, they have Taz, they have Schiavone. Just let them do it. But they have this hard on with the 3-man boost like they do on Raw. They
I know.
And like
they Jim Ross. I like Jim Ross, but he just looks, and it's not even his look. You can hear it in his voice.
It's like been there, done that.
He bores me. Yeah. I love Jim Ross. He doesn't do it for me anymore.
I don't mind him on the commentary team. If he was the worst of the 3, I'd be okay with it. Excalibur needs to be fucking run through a buzzsaw. I can't stand this guy. He is absolutely the best person on the fucking 3-man booth. Hardly talks. So, like you said, they have Taz. Use Taz, please, God, use Taz.
Yep, I agree.
Just make it Schiavone and Taz. I think the viewers would like that a lot more. But Excalibur has to be in there, and he keeps calling the wrong moves? He's calling
No, he's not calling the wrong moves. He's calling the right moves, but he's using a different name. Like he'll say a suicida. Just say a suicide dive.
Don't be suicida.
Just say suicide dive.
What? Like,
stop
I don't know.
Stop with the fancy bullshit. I don't give a fuck. It's suicide dive, motherfucker.
That being said, I actually would rather listen. Unfortunately, I'd rather listen to AEW commentary than NXT. I really like Nigel McGuinness and fucking Beth Phoenix are good. Both of them. I am getting to my boiling point with Mauro Ranallo.
I am with you. But speaking of NXT,
I used to love him, but still, now I can't stand him.
Now, speaking of NXT, probably the best segment of WWE TV this week was the Broserweights and them trying to figure out how to get to Portland. They started out driving. Neither of them have a fucking license. Car got fucking confiscated. It was great. I think that was probably, and yes, I am not a huge fan of but it was just enough of the gimmicky bullshit
the silly
it told
fun
the story
stuff.
of how are these guys going to get to Portland. Well, we come to find out how they get to Portland. Have you seen it yet, Basement?
Yes, and I agree with you 100%. And I also would say that when you just said is 100 exactly the way I feel about NXT, and I've felt this way for the last couple of months. They were missing that little bit of silly entertainment that is needed in wrestling. They were hugely wrestling focused, and I guess they had it a little bit here and there with Keith Lee, but it wasn't him talking, it was just his actions. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't enough. They need to be like 20-80, 20% the silly gimmicky shit, 80% hard wrestling and serious.
And this show didn't revolve around the silly gimmicky bullshit.
And nor should it. It was just a highlight, a nice segment that reoccurred 3 times throughout the night. And just every time I saw it, I was like, this is great. This is fucking great. They struck gold with these two. In my mind, they've got to win the championship because, like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. And here's the point of contention that I was talking about, that NXT does better than even AEW does. All of their titles feel important.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is with that segment, them two will do anything in their power to get to Portland and win those titles. They will ride in the cargo hatch of a jet plane to get to Portland. And it was funny because fucking Matt Riddle, he's got Pete Dunne up in the cargo hatch, and he's like, here, okay, take the trophy, puts the trophy in there, and then he pushes him in. And he goes, whose plane is it? And it's Triple H's plane. Which, how can you not sit here, and even the end of the show, but the titles, all of them feel important. That being said, the women's title is starting to, they're trying too hard with it.
I would say, like, comparing AEW and NXT, AEW makes the titles feel important too. I just don't give a shit about the women's title. No matter what they put into, they don't have the roster to do it, so it doesn't matter to me. The other 2 titles, I feel, are being portrayed pretty solidly.
I mean, but NXT is better at it, in my opinion.
What I love most about that Pete Dunne, Matt Riddle segment, what they were playing, you hear his fucking theme song before you see Triple H.
I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that either. That's fucking awesome. Yeah, like that's like mastercraft. When it comes to NXT, they know exactly what they're doing, and they're also juggling how many titles and portraying them all. They have the same amount of time, but they're portraying the men's heavyweight, the women's, the tag, the cruiserweight, and they're doing it all pretty goddamn good.
Yeah.
Though I'm with you though with the women's title. This is the way I felt in fucking Survivor Series. The infusion of Raw and SmackDown into NXT, where it's just gonna be a layover before going back, actually hurts NXT, man.
Yeah. Yeah. But the ending of the show, the Ciampa and Adam Cole confrontation was good. I love that. The Roddy Strong and Velveteen Dream segment was good. The little details with the trunks, and I called it, and I knew that Roderick Strong was going to lose his shit because he's got Velveteen Dream, and then he's got his son, and then Marina, which is kind of weird because Marina Shafir is actually a heel. I don't know how I feel about that, but it is what it is. She hasn't been on TV in a while because Justin the Slender Man is hurt, I think. So
no, I think Marina Shafir's hurt.
Both of them are hurt, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just everything that they did this week on NXT was detailed, and it built to Portland, and it built to next week's show. Roderick Strong is taking on Velveteen Dream. I don't know how I feel about that. Them having that match there, that just tells me that something is going to happen during that match.
One thing I will say, and one thing that's I have not really been that interested in, is the Dakota Kai Tegan Knox feud.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying really hard. It's one of the matches on the card.
I don't think it should be though.
It's a street fight, by the way.
I know it's a street. I just feel like it's not. There's an opportunity for a couple. Like I would have rather seen Roderick Strong and Dream, or even the cruiserweight thing. I don't think is on the card.
No, that's next week on NXT, I think.
What, Velveteen Dream and Roderick Strong?
No, the cruiserweight match.
Yeah, that's next week.
Yeah, I would have rather seen that on the card than.
Well, they're trying to build the women's division too, so.
What I like about the Dakota Kai thing is that when she comes out to face someone like Candice LeRae, it's just the normal stuff. But when she comes out to face Tegan Knox, it's the video of her beating the shit out of her from TakeOver War Games, and then the moments and stuff. And people are bitching. Like, that's actually pretty good. I like that heel work. That's really cool.
I actually like the entrance for Dakota Kai.
Yeah.
Not the one with Tegan Knox. The one that she did against Candice LeRae. I like that entrance. That being said, that's pretty much it. Is there anything else?
That NXT is going to be out of Full Sail for a week because, like you said, of the NCAA basketball.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's really not. I mean, I get it, but is it really newsworthy? It's not like now. If they said that their show was going to be canceled for a week, I would probably say, okay, that's kind of fucked up. But I think that they'll be fine. They're probably going to go on the road. I think they're on the road for that month.
They'll probably go back to center stage in Atlanta like they did last
year. No, they're actually traveling. They're I can't even remember where they're going. I think they're going to Midwest, I think. Like Columbus, Detroit. I can't remember. Heather's not even paying attention. I'm just trying to remember the days that or the places that they're. I think it's the Midwest. I don't think they're going to stay in one place. I think they're going to travel. You're going to see how this travel thing goes, which I think they should do. Travel to the arenas, the smaller arenas. Don't try and fucking fill fucking Madison Square Garden.
No.
So, yeah. With that being said, let's get to the predictions, the picks. There's only 6 matches on the card. There's only 6 matches on the card. The first match is Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for the NXT Women's Championship, which is another thing. They are not changing the name of that. They put a stop to, they put a kibosh to that they were changing the name. They're not. They're not changing it, which is a good thing.
I mean, I'm okay with them referring to it as the NXT Championship if we obviously see they're talking about women, because it is an NXT Championship. But I mean, just for the ease of communication, fucking, there's a women's division, there's a men's division.
Yep. Agreed. So, Trek, who you going with?
I'm going with Rhea Ripley, and for all these people saying, "Oh, the fans are cheering on Rhea Ripley," no, they're not. It's just they're not used to seeing her on Raw, so they were just over more Charlotte out there. They still want to see Charlotte versus Rhea, which I'm not really interested in. I think that's a mistake to do it this soon.
I don't think it's a mistake to do it at all.
I do.
I don't.
I'm with Trek. I think it's too soon.
But I don't think. Well, I don't think it's going to end the way people think either, though.
I think Charlotte's going to put her over.
I don't think so. She already put her over once.
Mm-hmm.
She's already over. She doesn't need to be put over. But I don't think Charlotte's winning the title, and I don't think Rhea Ripley's losing it.
No.
I feel like this should have happened next year. You know what? Fucking have her hold the title for the whole year, and then have her deplete the roster, and then Charlotte comes in. Like, it's just she gets the title, and literally like her second defense is against Charlotte. Like, what the fuck?
She's defended before.
There's already rumors that there's gonna be some sort of fuckery, and they're gonna do a triple threat at WrestleMania weekend with it. I don't think they're gonna do that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do. That way, Bianca Belair takes the fall.
That being said, I'm still going with Rhea.
Okay. Well, I was hoping you wouldn't change that. Bobbit?
I'm going with Rhea.
Basement?
I'm going to go with this match ending in DQ.
Me too.
And Charlotte Flair is going to DQ. And then they're going to have a triple threat at Mania.
Yep. That's what I think's happening. Heather?
I don't think that's
So you think Rhea's winning? Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know why people refer to this as a dream match. I don't consider it a dream match. I consider it another match on the card. Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano. Is it going to be a good match? It probably could possibly be match of the night. But actually, I think the men's title match is going to be match of the night. That's me personally.
I actually think this whole card is going to be fucking great.
Yeah, the build to this takeover is good, and this isn't even one of those takeovers that people. It's not an important takeover. This is the thing. NXT makes all of their pay-per-views feel important, which they should. Which is why they only have 5 of them.
Yeah. Take note, Raw, SmackDown. Fucking garbage fest.
Yep. Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano. Who you got? Hobbit?
Fit.
I have Balor.
Balor? Basement?
I'm with you on that. Balor's going to win.
You think Balor's going to win? Why?
Yep.
Why?
I think Balor's going to be the next in line to challenge for the championship.
Okay. Heather?
He was in the conversation beforehand.
Heather? Trek?
Yeah, I'm going Balor.
Yeah, I am with you. But don't be surprised. Johnny Gargano will look strong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This will be a 20-minute match in my mind. It'll be a good match, back and forth, hard fought. But Finn Balor's going to reign supreme in my mind.
Next match. The match that I think is probably going to be the most entertaining match of the fucking night as far as entertainment value. The Undisputed Era versus the Broserweights. It could be one. It's a dark horse for match of the night too, because you have 4 really good in-ring performers. I am starting to like Pete Dunne because he doesn't really do all that joint manipulation that takes a half hour for him to do one fucking move.
He does it like other people would do, like I guess like a sleeper hold rest lock,
right?
And that's it. Like, he doesn't overuse it too much, so I do appreciate him in ring.
Basement, who you got in this one?
The Broserweights.
I am with you. I think they're going to pull the trigger. And this will lead to them to tensions. It'll end up where these two are going to have a match somewhere down the road. Probably at TakeOver. Wherever.
Not the next TakeOver, but the TakeOver after that, or the one after that.
Okay. I think it might happen at the Mania TakeOver.
I hope not.
Me neither. I hope it actually lasts until June.
Mm-hmm.
Which is usually the Money in the Bank weekend. Sure. Heather, you going with? Well, I was going to go with Trek, but then I
just don't do it right now. It would be stupid not to.
Yeah, they would be silly not to, but if they don't, I do trust WWE or NXT in doing the right thing. They're slow with what they're doing, which is what they should be doing.
I mean, say they don't win, it's not going to be like their popularity is not going to go anywhere.
Mm-mm.
It's just the only logical next step is breaking them up.
Yep.
Which I don't want to see yet.
Not me either. Trek, who you got?
I'm going with the Broserweights.
Okay. Bobbit?
Broserweights.
Okay. The next match. And these aren't in any specific order. So don't think that this match is going to be here. Adam Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa for the singles for the NXT men's title. Heather.
Goldie's going home.
Goldie's going home. Goldie's going back to Ciampa. Correct?
I think it's Ciampa.
Okay. Bobbit? This is a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence with this one.
I think this is going to end in DQ.
Okay. Explain.
I see Ciampa winning the belt over at WrestleMania weekend.
I actually see Finn Balor winning it.
That too.
If they're going to do that. Adam Cole's going to lose it somewhere. It could be here. It could be at Mania. Who knows? Basement, who you got?
I mean, I'm with you guys. This is a tough one. I feel like for a long time I've been saying like eventually Undisputed Era will fall, and now with Roderick Strong losing and what I believe to be the tag team title switching hands, I personally would like to see Adam Cole be the only one with a championship and having that impact the team dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And that be the storyline going into WrestleMania, because, like, I mean, this is one of those NXT, those takeovers that's so different than the rest, because the next one happens so soon.
Yep.
That they might actually just use this as a segue to the bigger event. It'd be hard in my mind to see every title, almost every title except for the women's title, switching hands.
Right.
Like, NXT doesn't normally do that.
No.
That being said, I mean, I'm going to go with who I originally chose, which is Ciampa.
Okay. I'm going to go with Adam Cole. He's going to... I would go with the DQ.
You know what? I'm with you. Never mind. You convinced me in one word.
I would go with the DQ, but until I see what happens with the Undisputed Era in their tag team match, can't really say for sure that I would go with the DQ. Although it's a very good possibility that's what could happen.
See, I'd like personally Adam Cole to win and have this feud maybe move on to the WrestleMania time, and then have Adam Cole look to rely on the Undisputed Era to help him out, and they don't show up.
I actually see Finn Balor interfering in this match for some reason, and then that's how they build to the triples.
They could do it. I mean, regardless of the way it works out, I'd like to see this kind of turn into the downfall of the Undisputed Era because they've been featured for too long now, and I don't want to see another year where they're at the forefront as champion holders because it's really run its course.
Yes. I agree.
Kill it before it becomes too much.
Right.
Next match, Basement's favorite. Dakota Kai versus Tegan Nox. Street fight.
I don't really care, to be honest.
I think Tegan Nox. But Trek.
I think it's Dakota because Tegan Nox did beat her with some fuckery last time, so I think Dakota Kai's got to get some revenge.
So they're going to extend the feud.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Why? That's almost
till WrestleMania just so they have a way to do it, and then just have the big blow off at WrestleMania weekend.
Again, why?
Why?
I'd say this one will probably come to an end, just because the big blow up, like they're fighting in a street fight now.
Yeah. Where do you go?
What do they fight in at WrestleMania? This is fucking 3 stages of hell. Also, I don't want to see it.
God, I don't want to fucking see that.
No, it just I feel like that because, like I said, Tegan Nox got the best of her last time because of the fuckery.
And I understand that, Trek, but this is a street fight. A street fight usually ends a feud.
I hope it's a good match. I don't know if it will be, but either way, I'm probably gonna go with. Fuck, I don't really care, to be honest. I mean, it's like flipping a coin. I'm gonna go with Dakota Kai. Why not? Fuck it.
I'm going with Tegan. She hasn't won a match yet.
Yeah, she did.
No, Trek.
I hope she continues.
That's not what I mean. I know she's won a match. She hasn't won a big match.
Oh.
I feel like if she does win, that it will prolong the feud.
Tegan Nox.
I don't. Yeah.
Tegan Nox wins. We'll see. Bobbit.
I agree with you, JP. I'm going with Tegan Nox.
Okay. Heather.
Tegan, they're gonna move Dakota on to somebody.
I mean,
else.
I can see what Basement's thinking, but I think if Tegan Nox wins, it should end the feud. Because she beat her once, and now she's going to beat her again. But if Tegan Nox loses, she just... Where do you go with her? She's lost every big match she's been in. I don't want to see that.
Who would you rather see, I guess, getting pushed to the next level?
Both of them? Because I like both of them. But where do you go?
I think for me at least, I think Dakota Kai has a higher ceiling.
Well,
she's proven that she can pull off the face, and she's not doing too bad a job as the heel. So she's like a much higher ceiling version of Bayley.
Yes.
And she's better in the ring.
Yes. Yes. We'll see. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there because we haven't. With Tegan Nox, I've only seen her wrestle a couple of times, but I like her in ring. She's actually not bad. But we'll see. We'll see. It's a street fight that usually ends a feud. Keith Lee versus Donna. I almost fucked up. Dominic Dijakovic for the NXT North American Championship. Keith Lee has been the hottest thing in WWE for about a couple months now. Ever since Survivor Series, he's been pretty hot.
Yeah, he's not
kind of cooled off a little bit, but he's still pretty hot. Bobbit, who are you going with?
I'm going with Keith Lee.
Well, I agree. I don't think Keith Lee is losing the title here. This is the 30,000th time these two have fought, but I could watch both of these guys wrestle.
I still would have preferred them to go with fucking what's his face.
Damian Priest.
Yeah. I personally, because like you said, I've seen these guys fight like 1,000 times.
I think that's
it's going to be a good match, regardless.
I think that'll be next.
Yeah.
So who are you going with, basically?
Oh, well, Keith Lee. This is going to be the swan song for these two ever fighting again, in my mind.
Hopefully. I'm going Keith Lee. They're not taking it off him just yet.
No.
Yeah, exactly. It's Keith Lee. It's too early to pull the belt off him.
All right. So that's pretty much the card. 6 matches. Not bad.
It's going to be a good show, man, in my opinion. I think it's going to be one of the better takeovers just because the card is so good.
Yep.
Just proves you don't need friggin' 12 matches on a pay-per-view to do it. 6 matches to do it.
And it also proves that you don't need to have fucking Hulk Hogan.
Well, you don't need to add fucking matches that mean nothing to a pay-per-view because the Raw and SmackDown are filled with matches that mean nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they have the peppering in of matches that actually have some form of storyline going on.
Mm-hmm.
But they cut the fat, man, when it comes to pay-per-views. We don't need to see shit that's... why would you have, it's like a TV show getting to the season finale and having the season finale be half filler.
Yep.
Who wants to see that?
Yep. I know I don't.
Well, wasn't it mentioned that if TakeOver on Sunday night does well, then they might look into doing more takeovers on Sunday night and not having to wait until they do a pay-per-view weekend so they can have less WWE pay-per-views and have NXT takeovers mixed in?
I like the idea of them doing keeping pay-per-views on Sunday night and just staggering and being like NXT, and then in 2 weeks you got WWE, and then just do less in general, for fuck's sakes. WWE needs to cut down to 9 pay-per-views a year, and then add the Saudi Arabian bullshit, because right now they're way too much.
Yep.
This is why they have filler, because the fucking... For fuck's sakes, man, we're going to watch the Saudi Arabian show, and then we're going to watch Elimination Chamber, which is the Saudi Arabian show in an Elimination Chamber.
Yes. Essentially, that's what it is. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't know why Bobbitt's dancing.
Is John Cena coming back?
On the 28th.
On the 28th, yes.
On the 28th, yeah. I really wish he would stop doing that. He's probably going to be in the Elimination Chamber. Watch. So
what the fuck is the Elimination Chamber match for at this point in time?
I have no idea.
Contendership to face the Fiend is my guess.
Or the Universal Champion.
Yeah.
Are you? Because I'm not convinced that the Fiend is winning.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I could see WWE putting the title on Goldberg. I really could.
And if they do that, you could see Twitter, all those people that were like, "I love the Fiend," even though he was booked like a pile of shit.
Yep.
How could they do this to Bray Wyatt again, ruining his character? The fucking guy left the fucking station broken. His character was ruined from the get-go. So.
Yep. Which is why I never cared for him, because I knew what they were gonna fucking do with him.
Yep.
And because, oh my God, it's hot. We got to pull the trigger. Well, see what happened. I fucking hate.
Fucking titties out, Mother Teresa.
Titties out, Mother Teresa. So that being said, we're gonna get out of here. We didn't talk for 5 hours.
You got The Rock's daughter.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So I do want to say this. I found Nigel McGuinness and Shayna Baszler's eyebrows. They are on Simone Johnson. God damn, she has some fucking what Nigel McGuinness and Shayna Baszler don't have. She makes up.
She looks like The Rock. With the wig on.
She looks like a guy. She does.
Yeah.
But hey, good luck to her. I hope that just because of who she is, that WWE's like, Because if they do that, then you're essentially going to have another. The thing is, Charlotte Flair is actually pretty good in ring, but I could see WWE pulling the trigger on that 4 or 5 years down the road. The Rock's daughter versus Ric Flair's daughter.
I just don't want to see her being elevated to a place she's not ready for. I don't want to see it because I have this bad feeling WWE likes to, it's a name, it's marketable. We're fucking gonna push this girl to the moon. Yet she can't even do a fucking arm drag.
Yep.
I mean, you're not wrong with the eyebrows. I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't help that she's there with fucking red hair and these like caterpillars on her head. I mean, the thing is, like, she's not like she's kind of like manly looking, but she's not like hideous.
No.
But hopefully she can actually fucking wrestle.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I heard she's very athletic, so her being athletic is a bonus.
But the thing is, if she can't talk on the mic, she's not going to live up to The Rock's namesake. Because that's like, do you remember The Rock for his wrestling, or do you remember The Rock for like what he actually said?
I actually no. I mean, I'm one of those people.
He was good in the ring.
Yeah, he was a blue chipper. That's what they called him. That's what Jim Ross called him. Called him a blue chipper. I mean, I didn't mind him either way. He was pretty consistent both.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm worried about her and what WWE is known for. That scares me. But we'll see.
She'll be on NXT TakeOver WrestleMania weekend, judging by things.
She's taking on Charlotte Flair and beats Charlotte Flair because can you smell what The Rock's daughter's eyebrows are cooking? Anything else? Trek, you want to add on to what we were just talking about?
Congratulations to her for joining. It sounds like Triple H sees something in her, and I trust Triple H. We'll see that, but just don't rush it. Take your time.
What are you telling WWE what to do? They're gonna do it even if you say don't do it.
I'm sure we know what they see in her.
Yeah, it's her eyebrows. Bob it. I'm dancing. You got any thoughts on this?
No, I don't think it's as good as some, man.
Oh. All right, so basement, anything else?
I don't think so.
Heather? Okay. Well, I mean, it was a short show, but because not much really happened. Good luck to Simone Johnson. I hope she's got a leg up. Her dad's was pretty good, and I'm pretty sure
she was always at ringside for his shows, and her grandfather as well. And Matt Bloom himself said that she knows she has a lot of work to do, but she is not taking it lightly.
Well, that's a good.
Yeah. Put in the work. This is the Chris Benoit fucking junior thing. Guy's looking to use his father's name. He fucking doesn't wrestle at all.
Right. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Have a good night. Good luck to all the drivers in the Daytona 500. I hope you all crash.
Really?
Because that's the only reason that I fucking would watch racing. For the crash. The crash is the best part of the show. I'm just kidding. I don't wish anybody to crash. But
if I'm watching it, I do.
If I'm watching it, that's all I watch it for. But good luck to all the drivers and all that stuff, even though none of them watch our show, but whatever. So everybody have a good night, and we will talk to you on Wednesday or whatever fucking show I feel like fucking doing. Everybody have a great night.